Hey, Nick.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing good, buddy, man. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh wow. Hopefully a lot of good things.
Hey, man, the way Matt talks about you, you got a cape around there behind you somewhere. Superman cape.
I told him stop doing that. Oh man, Scott jumped on. He gonna tell you the truth. Don't keep the man over
Scott's on the
here.
Nick Daniels bandwagon, man. He ain't gonna tell me any different. He might bust your balls here, but he ain't gonna. I know how he really feels.
Well, it's nice meeting
Daniels
you,
is a
man.
fraud.
Yeah,
Putting a
nice meeting
face
you too.
to a name.
Yeah, same here,
Glad they
buddy.
told you some good things about me. Hopefully I can live up to all that hype.
I'm sure you will.
All right. I think we have everybody on here. Jared, how you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
Doing all right. It's nice to meet you as well.
Oh yeah, same.
Definitely heard a lot of good things about you.
Appreciate that.
Congratulations on making it through the 2 weeks of in-person training.
Oh yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it.
It's the gauntlet, right? But it's very, very necessary. Well, I think we have everybody on the call, so I'm not gonna hold us up or anything. I'm gonna get right going. Today is the kickoff meeting. All of our meetings are scheduled to be an hour. They don't necessarily always have to go an hour, but they're scheduled for an hour. During this meeting, we'll cover three things. First, I'm gonna go over our meeting rules, so everybody knows what those are. Then I'm gonna hand it over to Scott Billington to train you guys on our Z's acquisition documents. And then last, we'll hand it over to Patrice, and she'll get you trained up on the DCM program. And then we'll end it for today. Wednesday, we got a special guest appearance from the founder, Matt Miller. He's going to go over some things, and then we'll continue with the training. Look at my man Logan here, looking nice and clean, fresh. I love it, man. I love it. Looking great.
Needed it big time.
Perfect. All right, so meeting rules. First thing, professionalism. Okay. So the environment you're in. For every meeting, we want to make sure that we're in a professional environment and have our calendar up. Okay. And the logo on. Okay. So your dress code, you should be wearing the M14 logo or be business professional attire. Obviously, FOs. I know you guys. I see you, Scott. I know you guys you have your other job. So, being in a polo or whatever, that's totally okay. But DBOs, let's make sure that we are in the M14 logo when we're on there. Punctual, okay? Don't be late. If you are, text me to let me know. If you don't let us know, we are not rescheduling our meetings, okay? We'll pick up with the following week. Now, all of the meetings are scheduled or are recorded. So if you did need a meeting, you can just shoot me an email or a text and I can email that over to you. I won't just automatically send it every week because it just ends up taking too much space on our computers. But if you ever needed it, it is recorded and I can get that meeting to you, okay? Want to keep things tight, all right? So we're not going to have a lot of pointless conversations. Obviously, we only have an hour. We got a lot of stuff that we got to go through, so let's make sure we're on point with that. Make sure you have your calendar up and ready. And when I mean by calendar, it'll be your marketing and program calendar. Always have that up because we'll be going off of that just to make sure we are on point with that stuff. And then DBOs, if you guys ever have training sessions going on, private lessons, group training sessions, let's make sure that we have our curriculum prep document filled out. So I'll be creating a curriculum prep document. We'll be going over that on Wednesday's call to kind of show you guys how to fill that out. Again, we want to be efficient with the hour that we have. So, the prep document just, hey, what grade is the player in, gender, skill level, those type of things, what they want to work on. That way we can get right to the point on what that curriculum needs to look like. Communication, okay? Outside of our scheduled calls on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, please don't contact me before 10:30 a.m. EST. So I'm on Eastern time. So that'll be 9:30 CST if you guys are on Central time, or after 6 o'clock Eastern time, which is 5 p.m. Central time. I do have a life outside of this. If you need anything, you can shoot me a text. And in that text, please state what you wanted to talk about so that when we do talk, we can get right to it. And I can be prepared for that. Because sometimes I can give you an immediate answer. Sometimes it's like, all right, yes, we can talk tomorrow. and I'll get you an answer. Also, please don't text me, hey, Nick, do you have a second? Because the answer is no. Better yet, please just text me, hey, would love to talk to you about some stuff. Do you have time on tomorrow or later today to be able to talk more specific so we can schedule a time and get on the phone? I do want to get you an answer. I do want to talk to you, but I get a million texts every day, so I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. Please get right to the point. Let's utilize our resources. Okay. So when you contact us, you might get a reply back that points you in the direction where you can find the answer. It's most likely written somewhere. The owner manual, somewhere that we have. It's probably going to be in the owner manual. Okay. Please don't get emotional with this year of support. We're here to help you learn how to think within the brand. Don't want to be holding hands here. So you can learn how to run your location with our championship culture in accordance to the business model you invested in. Another thing, I don't work for you. Okay. I'm not managing your employee for your location. So we are here to support and help you, but I am not an employee of yours and I won't be managing your DBO. I'll just be helping them. Your job, FOs, is to make sure you manage them. Okay. So don't give me task. All right. Again, I'll point you in the right direction of how you can get it done. I'm here to guide you. Don't use this support as a crutch. All right. I don't know is not a valid excuse. Again, it's your business, it's your investment. We expect for you guys to be on point with that stuff. We're here to support and help, but I'm not going to be holding hands and doing the job for you. All right. Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. This is a Matt thing, and I love it. Tell my guys this all the time. So bring me problems with a solution to it, and we will decide if that was the best way to go about it. That way, you guys learn how we handle problems at M14. And then last, make sure you document everything so we can use each call or each week to go over what happened that last week or the current week in the following week. So if something happened at a training session or whatever it is, document it. And then normally we'll have I'll open up a section of our call where you can bring those things up and we can address it. Jared, did they get you virtual backgrounds, Jared and Logan?
I have, but I'm having camera issues where it's like weirdly, it's like going over my face. So it's like, if you want to see it, it's like it's being weird.
Oh, that's fine. I feel like that's a Richmond thing. I feel like our other guy was going through that too. But yes, so you do have the virtual backgrounds though.
Yeah, I have them. So
Okay,
on Google Meet, they work perfectly fine, but on Zoom, they're a little weird for some reason.
Patrice, you're the tech person. Do you have it?
Green for Zoom. I think that's what the problem is. I need like a green screen, so it just gets on the green part and nothing else.
You don't need all that. I don't have a green screen. So yeah, maybe it's something we can look into afterwards, but you don't need all that extra stuff.
Jared, did you get the virtual backgrounds?
I just looked at my share with me documents. I found them.
Okay, awesome. Yep. So just in the future, make sure you have that virtual background up. That'll be awesome.
I've been using mine for almost a year, and for some reason, it's not giving me the option today to pull it up. So it must be something in my settings.
Yep. And if you need us to resend those to you, we can totally do that. Not a problem at all. Awesome. So that's all I have for our meeting rules. If you guys don't have any questions on any of that stuff, I'm going to hand it over to Scott Billington. Scott, will you be sharing your screen?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to set the settings where you can do that.
I think I can do it. It says it right here.
No, it's host only right now.
All right. All right.
Let you. So now I'm saying all participants, and you should be able to do it now.
Okay, so we are going to go over customer acquisition. This is how we brought a customer into a program. I am going to share the screen. This is all very basic. Okay, can everybody see that? All right, so we're going to have a question. When people sign up, it's going to say, how did you hear about this program? They are going to answer already part of the community, from a friend or relative, handed a flyer, M14 staff, email, Instagram ad or post, Facebook ad or post, search. We are going to condense those answers into these 6 categories. If they say M14 staff, that is going to count as a flyer. That just means the staff told me how great this program is, and that's going to be closest to flyer. Are there any questions? This seems fairly self-evident. Are there any questions about this?
Scott, are you going to show them how to set it up, or are you setting it up for them?
I am going to show them how to set it up. I'm following rule number 3.
Let's go.
Okay. Everybody get this. This is all pretty obvious. I am assuming, but I want to make sure I don't move ahead till everybody gets it. Yes? Okay.
Yep.
To get this information is pretty simple. I am going to look at Mason here. So you are going to be on the dashboard of your location. You're going to scroll down in League Apps. Let's imagine I want this for the Fall Academy. I'm going to click Players. This is going to list everybody who signed up for the program. I'm going to click Export to CSV, which is the same as exporting into Excel. I'm going to hit that. When you first do it, all of these things are going to be checked. And we don't want all of these things. There may be other times when you might want different ones of these, but for customer acquisition, we don't want all that. So we are going to hit uncheck all. We are going to scroll down and we are going to check, how did you hear about this M14 program? Which is the question that we are answering. Everybody got it so far.
Yep.
Yes.
We are then going to click export. It's going to throw it up in a download, very similar to this. We can click on that download. And it's going to come up like this. Okay? To make this easy, you're going to highlight.
Scott, we can't see the Excel spreadsheet.
Oh. Okay, bear with me just a second. There we go. Thank you. Got it?
Yes.
Very simply, we're going to highlight that column. We're going to go to sort filter, sort A to Z, and that's going to put it all in order for us. The only quirk is going to be our first question. How did you hear about this program? Will be listed. So in this case, I would go through and I'd fill this out. Meta would be 1, 2, 3. Three, word of mouth, 1, 2, 3. Flyer, 1, 2, and then I'm going to add in 3, 4, 5. Search, etc. Part of the community. Very basic. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
I suggest doing this at least at the end of a program. I would suggest doing it a couple times during signups so that we can see what is doing well. Let me pull back up the sheet I had. I'm going to share this again. Got it?
Yes.
Does everybody understand what we're writing in, how we're doing it? That all good?
Yeah.
The last thing is a quick synopsis in how I use this, we use this to evaluate your business. First, we've got number versus goal. You should be creating a goal at first with Nick Daniels or whoever is your primary support person, DBO, FO should have a goal together. First thing we're going to look at is, did we reach our goal? This is summer camps. For summer camps, our goal was 950. We got 943, so we were 99.26%. So that's great. We met our goal. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Second, we're going to be able to tell kind of a weird amount about our business from these numbers. First, FOs. How am I going to know if my DBO has been or has been effective when they have been out in person at tournaments with flyers? The obvious answer is, how many people did I get from flyers? And I would use emails as supporting in that regard. I would not overreact to one program. I would be looking at things in seasons. But if we're looking at flyers and we get one person from flyers for a whole season, I think that raises a flag as to either we're not going to tournaments and hand out flyers, or when we're going, we're being very ineffective. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Secondly, obviously, we can check the effectiveness of our Facebook ads and our search, and really how our site is written for search. Those should all be uniform and should be pretty effective now. You could see for summer camps, we got about 32% of our people from those two avenues. Again, we're probably going to have to use a little bit of assessment here. A more expensive, let's say an ATP, is probably going to be a little bit less from that and a little bit more in retention. But then maybe a clinic or something like that would probably be more meta and search, less retention. We would look at cost and commitment are going to move things on that continuum. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The last thing, and one of the most important things, FODBO, is we can look at our retention and our word of mouth, and we can really check the quality of the product we have been delivering from those numbers. We have a ton of data that suggests that 75 to 80% of our program signups should be retention and word of mouth, and retention should be roughly double word of mouth. Now, when you are newer, those are obviously not going to hold because you don't have anybody to retain, and you also don't have anybody that could spread the word. Okay, so for brand new locations, it will probably be 6 months before we start to see you fall into these categories. And obviously your numbers will be a little bit lower. Once you've been around for about a year, you're going to see those are fixed pretty good, not pretty good. They're going to be very accurate. And again, your ATPs are going to be a little heavier in retention word of mouth, while some other things, other less expensive programs might be a little less retention, only because we're able to bring more new people in from that. Okay. I'm going to give a quick way I would evaluate column B, location 1 here. When we set a goal of 350, I'm going to quickly say, okay, I expect 262 to be retention word of mouth. And if I'd predicted that, we got 281. So I'd have been off by 9, 6 months in advance. That's pretty effective. So I'm going to take my goal. I'm going to multiply that by 75%. And then if I want to predict how many word of mouth versus how many retention, I'll divide that number by 3. That's going to give me basically 88 word of mouth and 167 retention. I mean, that accuracy is freaky. I got 169. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I threw some math at everybody now. I'm going to go back over it. Goal times 0.75. That tells me how many retention and word of mouth I'm expecting. I'm really expecting a little more than that because it's really 75 to 80. I take goal times 0.75 and I divide by 3. That number is the expected word of mouth. I double the word of mouth. That number is the expected retention. How is this useful? Let's look at location 2. Goal 175. Actual 136. Fell a little short of the goal. Where did we fall short? Was our marketing not good? Or did we not retain what we wanted? Right off the bat, I can tell you, at a goal of 175, we would have expected 131 retention word of mouth, and we only got 47. So once again, I'm not going to super overreact to that. But if I saw that in 3 different programs over an entire season, then I would want to do a deeper dive. Okay? Maybe I set my goal too high. I mean, that's going to be your first. But that's going to let us analyze that and quickly say, hey, we brought in plenty of new people. We just didn't bring back as many old people. Now, maybe we didn't market to our old people well enough, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? We can glean a crazy amount of information about our business from these 5 little categories, 6 little categories. We all will be able to pinpoint a lot about your business from this. And it may be things that we don't want to hear about, but those are the very things we have to address. So if our quality hadn't been good enough, then we're going to have, we may have to address some of that. Let me make sure that I've hit everything on my agenda. Valuable, how to do it, how to set it up. Yes. So I've hit everything there. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I just went over? Not one question. Okay. I will be available through, if you have questions in this regard, you want to first address those with whomever your main point of support contact is at the time, wherever you are in the process. If they need to bring me in, they'll do so. Okay. We should keep these for all of our programs. I am going to share the screen one more time. I forgot to show you this. Notice along the bottom, I've got every single program for the year. Winter camp, first step, NLK, overtime, rapid fire, etc. Then we go into the spring. Then we go into the summer, and now we're into the fall. Okay. I would probably keep those annually. So I've got a sheet for each year. That will allow me in 25 to go back and look at where we were, what we did in 24 for this program, which will enable more analysis.
Scott, can the customer opt out of the survey, or are they required to give an answer?
I do not think that they can continue without giving an answer.
Okay.
I have not signed up for one of our programs though, so I'm not 100% certain about that. We do not have, I can't remember the last, like all 900 of these, I had no answers for summer camp. So I can't remember the last time somebody signed up and was not.
So you can set it as a required field where they have to
Set
answer.
it as a required.
I believe that Patrice does that when she sets up your.
Set it as required. In fact, Aaron, I am wrong. They cannot get by it because I have not had no answer in 3 seasons.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I just looked at one of the programs, and that is a required question on the survey when they register.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions? So we're going to set this up. We're going to just have a tab with each program. You notice when I started, to be clear, some of our programs can run over the year markers. So I had winter camp 23, 24. Those I count in the year of 24. First step, overtime, it's more the year I started this in 24. So when I get to those for next year, I will start my 25 bigger spreadsheet. This can all be a Google Doc saved on the drive, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's the easiest. That allows other people to share and see your information the most easily. I do have to right now fill these in by hand. So I go through the process like I described, and then I count up. All right, we had 143 of these, and then I type 143 into these columns. Okay. If that is it, then McDaniels, I'm finished. And I cede the floor to you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Scott. We appreciate that. I took down that math equation as well, handing that to my guys. Now we're going to hand it over to Patrice to go over our DCM program for you guys.
All righty. You guys see my screen okay? Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
So yep, digital communications management. I am the manager over the DCM program. What I'm gonna go over today is gonna seem like a lot, but I'm gonna try to condense it as much as possible. But what I do recommend you guys to do is to schedule some time with me. I spoke to Logan, what was that, last week? We went over this, but definitely you two from Prosper, feel free to schedule some time where we can actually go through this in more detail. And then later on in the training camp, I'm going to touch on some things as well, because I don't expect you guys to remember all this the first time out the gate. So Yep, I'm gonna just run through the program, a little bit about me. I've been with Matt since like pre-pandemic, so we're looking at like 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. I've been working with Matt, actually started out as his marketing director prior to the pandemic. I am not in Chicagoland anymore. I actually moved to Cleveland 3 years ago for love, is what I like to tell people. That's the only reason why I'm in Cleveland. But yeah, it's Cleveland compared to Chicago. It's Cleveland. So yeah, so I am in Chicago. I would say like once or twice a year, or if Matt needs me to come out, I will. But yep, I am Eastern time zone. So time zone is definitely important when we communicate as far as meetings and whatnot. Similar to Nick, best way to reach me is via email. Obviously, you guys will have my cell phone number once I send out a text later today with the Camp of Dreams stuff. So definitely save my number in. The best way to reach me, though, like I said, similar to Nick, is via text. I do a lot outside of M14, but M14 is the main thing. So definitely send a text. If I can, reach back out to you that day, I will. If not, I'll respond back to you via text. In addition to that, I also teach. That's the other thing that I do. I teach at a university out here. I teach marketing within their music industry program. So in addition to that, we do have a support person that helps me out a little bit. Her name is Kristen Cunningham. I doubt if you guys will ever meet her, but you may see her name on some things here and there. So if you see it, that's who she is. She's my support person when it comes to the DCM program. So the DCM program is broken down into 4, I would say, like categories. We manage your website. So we update any program details on the website. The home tiles, like the featured programs that are on the homepage, we update those every season. And we also connect your registration links, which ties into league apps. So we create those registration links, and then we tie those back to the website. So those two kind of work hand in hand. That's the only thing that we pretty much do as it relates to league apps, setting up registrations. There may be some technical issues or tech support that you may need. I can definitely help out with that. If I can't, I know who to reach out to get it resolved for you. In addition to that, we also manage your social media to an extent. We create and design for each program. So like social media flyers that I'll show you guys here momentarily, as well as like pin posts for each season. When I mention pin post, this is what I'm referring to, using Nick's page out in Indy. We design these pin posts. So basically, it's just a post that shows all the programming for the season that they pin to the top, so people can, go to the page and see what they have going on. So this is something that we handle within the DCM program. Some locations will do this and post this themselves. For those that don't, we can do it for you as well. Yep, and then newsletter. MailChimp. MailChimp is the email marketing platform that we use for any email newsletter that we have going out. Matt mentioned that. No, you guys probably wasn't on the call, but Matt mentions that quite a bit as far as like sending out promotional emails. Now, these are different from your in-program emails. These are going out to the general public that just wants to sign up to stay up to date on what's going on with M14. So I like to say these are kind of like the annoying emails we get from companies that we buy stuff from, except for ours is less annoying. So we use MailChimp for that. Once that's created, I set it up for you as far as making sure everything is filled out properly. We create email templates so that every location and every email has a very cohesive and unified look across the brand. Then as far as uploading contacts, you guys will get emails as you go out and set up tables at events and tournaments and whatnot. There's a way for you guys to submit that over to us, and we can add those emails within MailChimp. And then we also create and schedule the email campaigns for you. Very simple. Like working with MailChimp can be a lot. So we pretty much just took that off your plate. We would just need to know what programs you want to promote and when. So we'll touch on that a little later. In addition to this, design, I did not include that on this slide, but I would say design is the fifth element of DCM. Anything design related as far as like pop-up banners. I know Indy they're doing brochures now, like trifold brochures. Anything design related, we handle that for you as well. So when it comes to DCM, we work in the process is threefold. There's 3 steps to it. And it's all about using a form to request something to be done. And then you guys review it and check for accuracy. And then once you guys approve it, then it goes live. So it's this 3-step process. Based on everything that I went over here, we pretty much have a form for you to fill out to request something to be done in all 4 of these categories and design. So just real quick, we have a registration request form. You pretty much will use this form to request registration links. If there's a link that needs to be updated on the website, you can use that. And then also flyers for print and social media. So when you guys request a program to be uploaded and created, you will get those 3 things. You'll get the registration link, a link to the website that once it's updated, or that web page, I should say, and then flyers for printing as well as for social media. And there's this link here that would take you to that form. And I will email these links out to you, so no need to jot this stuff down. So the form is pretty straightforward. Select your program name, your territory. When does the program start and end? What time does it start and end? When does this registration open? A lot of locations like to submit their stuff early. I'm already getting a request for spring, actually. So some of these registrations don't open until, like, let's say January. So that's good to have, so I can work that and set that in League Apps. How many players you're accepting? What's the capacity? Do you need a wait list and so forth? Gym location. What else? When do you need this posted by? And if there's any other local information that we need to know to create the registration, I have a spot here where you can input that in. If there's any particular picture you would want to use, a lot of locations have a specific picture that they would want to use for a flyer or something that they want to share. There's a spot for them to upload that information. Once that
if we don't put a specific picture in there, Patrice, would you put a stock photo in there in that place?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. I have tons of photos. I have photos of Jared, like, already. So more than likely in the beginning, they will be location oriented photos. Like, I'm not going to use something from Louisville for Prosper, especially if we have a photo from Prosper. So, but if there's something in particular you want to use, you can certainly send it and we can consider it from there. As long as it's on brand, basically. So with that being said, once that information is sent over, then it would be submitted over into Monday.com. We would then review it. We'll work it. That's when we change the status to working on it. And then what you would get is those 3 deliverables I mentioned: registration link, the web page link, and then the flyer. So they have the print version that's forward to a page that they can print and slice out. And then there's a single one that a lot of people like to post on social media and run an ad for it. I've seen that quite a bit. So you get 2 there. So then now what I'm waiting on is for Roswell to go in, review this information. And if it's correct, then they'll change the status to approved. Once it's approved, then we publish it, meaning that we're then going to go to the website and update this link for it to say, click here to register, and then add the link to it. So there's this process, and it's always reviewing and approving and whatnot. But again, we're setting all this information up. Okay, so the only thing that they really sent is what days they're running it, maybe what grades they're covering, and pretty much that's it. Everything else is already done, since all the programming is the same season to season. Any questions thus far before I move on? Okay, cool. So same process. We have a graphic design request form. Some of the materials that I mentioned is like the retractable banners, presentations. Matt, he presents a lot, so I designed quite a bit for him as it relates to presentations or manuals, things of that nature, flyers, seasonal pin posts that I showed you guys. And then I mentioned Indy, they're doing trifold brochures now. So I designed all of that. And there's a form to request that type of that type of deliverable as well. And here's the link for it. Again, I'll email that out to you guys. And then this is just a design sample or just some samples of some of the design work that I did for the brand. So here's a retractable banner, and here's some program flyers. So the whole goal of the DCM program is to make sure everything is consistent across the board as far as color scheme, different design elements, fonts, all of that matters. That's why we're M14. You know, we keep everything consistent and on brand. So yeah, all that just has a cohesive look. The next one, we have a general DCM request form. Now this form is pretty much just everything outside of what I just shared. So form fields. So the question and the form, the question that Scott was just going over, that's part of form fields. Like he said, you know, how did you hear about us? Was it word of mouth, retention? You guys may do something different and you may want to add this particular option to that survey. So you would request that using this form. So just say, hey, Patrice, we want to add Foot Locker promo or Foot Locker event to this. So they can say they heard about this through the Foot Locker event, and then he can, you know, tally those results later. So you would request that entry to be added to the form field using this form. Website updates. If there's anything on the website that you see that needs to be updated, phone number, address, email, or whatever, you can request that using this form. Social media updates, any general tech support. Like I said, things they do happen with league apps, website as well. So if there's any technical related issue that you come across, even social media, Facebook and Instagram, they can be very, very tricky to deal with. You can definitely submit that as a request. Facebook, Instagram ads, a lot of locations run their ads locally, but if you need help with that, I can certainly help with that. I've done that quite a bit over the years. And then adding contacts to your email list. So going back to that MailChimp, and I mentioned that, you know, you guys may capture some emails at events. You will use this form to submit that. And more than likely, the emails would have to be in a spreadsheet format, so like an Excel spreadsheet. And then last but not least, we have a MailChimp campaign form. Pretty much operates the same way. You submit it, we review it, we create the email templates or the campaign really, and then you review it. If it's approved, then we go back and schedule it. Some locations are reviewing it and scheduling themselves, but the process is, you know, we can go in and schedule it for you. So when it comes to the MailChimp campaigns, like I said, we create it for you. So the only thing we would need to know is what do you want to promote and when. So when you submit this information, what we're asking for is the date you would like the email to be sent, the subject line, you know, basically just a short sentence to entice them to open it, or some sort of call to action. So Matt, this week, we have 2 emails going out for Chicagoland. This is the last week to sign up for Labor Day clinic, you know, that, excuse me, that's the subject line. And then the feature program is literally the main program up at the top that I'll show you guys here momentarily that you want to promote. So since the subject line is just talking about Labor Day, we're featuring the Labor Day clinic with all the information there and a button for them to register. And then towards the bottom is including. So these are current or any upcoming programs you will want the audience to know about. And if there's any additional information pertaining to your region that you would want to include, you would let us know on this form as well, and then we would create it. So just to give you guys an idea of what a newsletter would look like, this is one for September. So let me see. So subject line, take your player's game to the next level. This one is going out on, what was it, September 6th, they submitted that. So their main focus here is featuring private basketball lessons. So they're promoting privates. All this information that we're gathering here and putting in the newsletter is coming from the website. So this is why I say all we would need to know is the program that you want to promote. We put the information there, contact, and a button, and then they have no featured ones. So let me pull up another one. I think this one has something. Yeah. So for this one, they're promoting their fall break camps. So it's all the information here, 2-day camp, 1-day clinic. And then they want to promote the winter programs down below. So these are the featured, not the featured, I'm sorry, the including programs. So they want to include winter overtime, rapid fire, and first step. So they literally sent me a request listing these out in that format. In that format here. Date, subject line, feature, and including. And then we create it, they approve it, and then we schedule it from there. So yeah, that's pretty much the process as far as like how DCM works. Like I said, you submit a request, we complete it, you review it, and then we move on to the next one. And like I mentioned, I'm very available. You just gotta, reach out to me in the appropriate way. If you want to schedule a meeting similar to this, where we can go over more specific details as it relates to DCM, there is a link here on this presentation, but it's also in my email signature. You can certainly schedule a meeting there. You also have access to what I just shared. Every location has access to a folder called DCM resources. This would be located in your info email address, so prosperinfo@gmail. So look in there, you'll see DCM resources, and you have some additional resources as it relates to DCM. So M14 apparel, we have instructions on how to order apparel and logos to use for that. ATP jersey, that file and instructions are there as well. And then here's the PDF that I just went over with you guys. We also have some how-to guides as well that go into a little more detail of how to do things step by step and so forth. So if there's anything that I want to mass share with you guys, it will be located in here, as well as logos. A lot of locations are using the logos on their social media, such as like, TikTok and the videos and whatnot. So those are here as well. So yeah, that's pretty much the DCM in a nutshell. Do you guys have any other questions as it relates to that? Okay, well, there's just a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to go over before I wrap up. Today, there will be like a DBO announcement being posted on your social media announcing, you guys, a DBO. Logan, I just need your bio, but we've already hit you with that. Jared, that'll be posted today. And then also Prosper, you guys will start seeing posts going out on your Facebook and Instagram. This is what we call gap marketing. So this is corporate posts introducing those that are following you to the M14 brand. And it also, it's filling in that gap between launch and then when you run your first program and start posting your own local content. So it's 20 weeks of content. It'll be posted every Tuesday around noon local time. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And if you want, feel free to share those posts on your personal pages, just to build some more awareness. So there will be that content being scheduled out on your location pages. The only thing that I would need, Prosper, is, Aaron, I emailed you about it. If you could make me like have full control of your Facebook.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Yep, I need to connect your Instagram with the Facebook page. Yep, so we can link those two.
And you said you emailed me about it?
Yep, I emailed you about it.
Okay, I'll check it and I'll get on it quick.
Perfect. And then once that's done, we can go ahead and get the gap marketing rolling. Yeah, and that's it. And of course, Richmond, you guys already exist. So you guys already been through gap marketing. So there's nothing to cover there. But yep, just Logan's bio, and then we should be good. All righty. That's all I had. I'm gonna shoot it back over to you, Nick. You are on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Patrice, for all that information. That was great. So real quick, I'm about to wrap it up here. On Wednesday's call, Matt will be on there. Okay. We'll go over the programming flow chart. He'll go over a pricing grid, and then we'll get into marketing and programming, DBOs. We'll put together the DBO Go plan. And then we kind of go from there. So up and running. Does anybody have any questions on anything that was covered today?
No, thanks, Nick.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
I appreciate your time, and I'll see everybody on Wednesday.
All right, thank you.
That was good.
Thanks,
Guys,
bye.
take care.
Yo.